CSA AI Controls Matrix. So we all know our CCM, but today we're going to talk about AI Controls Matrix as well. Hello everyone, my name is Victor Monga. I am serving on the board for CSA LA Chapter. With me today, I have Marina. She is Principal Research Analyst, AVP at Cloud Security Alliance. She's going to walk us through the CSA AI Controls Matrix. I will take the questions in the chat and I will repeat to her. So Marina, floor is yours.
Hi, Victor. Thank you. Okay, so today we're presenting the AI Controls Matrix, which is a new framework from CSA, and hopefully it will help people to better understand it. I'll start actually with the needs that created the idea of AICM, and then we implemented it. It started with the evolving AI technology area, which is so rapid. And we are addressing unprecedented concerns like trust, for example, policymakers, regulators, service provider, even AI customers, all of us are concerning about how to satisfy regulatory requirements when using or deploying AI systems, how to build credibility in the marketplace, and basically how to earn customer trust. So the idea behind these to balance innovation with accountability and transparency. For us, a trustworthy Gen AI service is a service that helps you with your needs, but also in a responsible and ethical way. And it has core attributes like explainability for its outputs and decisions, a reliable performance. It is resilient against failures and attacks, and also transparent when it comes to operations and limitations that it may have. So we wanted to build systems that create sustainable value, but also minimize any potential harms. How we built it? We used the CCM that you already mentioned as a principle, as a base. We built on top of that, and we created another framework of controls objectives in order to support organizations in their development, implementation, and use of these AI technologies.
Marina, we have a question.
Yes.
You mentioned this is built on top of CCM. So does that mean our organization is considering AICM now? Do they still have to go through the CCM, or can they just do AICM, which will encompass all the CCM parts as well?
So we are going to have two frameworks, actually. The CCM still stands. In fact, we are updating it for a newer version. It will be ready by end of 2025, 2026 maybe. And AICM is a different independent framework. It has common controls with CCM because we are talking about AI systems that operate on cloud environments, but we also take it a step further to AI operations and systems. That's why it is called AI Controls Matrix. I will show it in a later slide. We have the same domains as CCM, but one more, model security, and a total of controls that is, again, more than the CCM.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks, Marina.
So as all CSA working groups and as well as CCM, these AI Controls Matrix has been developed by the AI Controls Working Group, built on CCM as a foundation. It is a open working group, as all CSA working groups are, expert-driven, consensus-based, and vendor-agnostic. We have industry experts from all over the world and different fields, regulators, technical experts, auditors, you name it.
Yeah, and we did a session encouraging everyone at that time to go contribute as well. So thank you everyone who had done it and all the volunteers. I know this is exciting. This gives a lot of insights into what's coming up. But again, it does take time as well. So thank you all the volunteers who have actually given your expert advice and opinion. So thank you.
Thank you as well. Okay, so this is how it is structured. Different security domains, 18 in number, with one newly introduced model security, and a total of 244 control objectives. And this slide is its architecture in a nutshell. In the center, we have the AICM controls, which we identify by control name, the domain, the security domain they belong to, and the control specification, which describes in few words what this control is about. But then going clockwise, we introduce the control type, the control applicability and ownership, the architectural relevance that they have of the in the Gen AI stack components, the lifecycle relevance that they have in the LLM lifecycle, and the threat categories that they mitigate. Control type. So this is how it looks like. It is a spreadsheet. It is a little bit big. On the right, it has more fields, more columns. This screen allows for only these two first pillars. So we organized it into 5 key pillars, each of those offering a different perspective to ensure comprehensive control coverage, like I showed in the previous slide. The first pillar is the control type. Each control is classified based on relevance. They are classified either as AI specific, which means that these controls are unique to AI operations and behavior. They are either classified as AI and cloud related, meaning that these controls address the interplay between AI and cloud infrastructure, or they could be only cloud specific, meaning that they are inherited or adapted from cloud security best practices or from the CCM.
So there is some overlap to that as well when it comes to the CCM. So if someone had gone through those controls, they will see some of that remnants, or they should see some of the resemblance here as well, on top of their additional AI controls.
Yes, exactly. Then moving on to the next pillar or category, we are mapping these controls to AI systems actors who are responsible for implementing them across the 4 layers of the Gen AI service delivery model: the Gen AI operations, the model layer, the orchestration service layer, the Gen AI application layer. The ownership is captured through 6 models. They include model provider, the orchestration service provider, the application provider. It could be shared models like CSP and MP together, helping this way determine who is responsible for its control at every level of the Gen AI stack. And ownership this way becomes granular and maybe more actionable and implementable as it was before. Then moving on to the next slide and continuing with this, let's say, architectural pillars. The third pillar is the architectural relevance of these previously mentioned controls. They are evaluated for their relevance across the Gen AI stack components. Those stack components include the physical infrastructure, the network, the compute, the storage, application, and data. True or false says identifies whether a specific controls belongs to the physical infrastructure, to the physical component or the network component. If they don't belong, then the value is false. If they belong, the value is true. And the idea behind this architectural mapping is to make sure that no part of the stack is overlooked when assessing risk and applying safeguards and avoiding blind spots across layers this way.
There's a question here, Marina, that what about the efficacy and I guess eventually when AI is not doing ethical things or saying something that could be unethical, is that captured anywhere here in the controls, or that's not relevant?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We have 1 or 2, I don't remember the number more, controls that address ethics. So that is also included in the 244 controls list.
Thank you. Do you know if anybody had gone through this and how much time it took them to, from top to bottom, going through each control, reviewing it, and what's the average time looks like?
Well, so it is not public yet. We haven't had pilots on the matrix itself. We're having pilots on different components of the matrix, like the self-assessment questions. So I cannot assess the time, to tell you the truth. Okay, moving on to the other pillar that these controls are mapped to. It is the lifecycle relevance, the LLM Gen AI lifecycle. It covers the phases of preparation, development, evaluation, validation, deployment, delivery, and service retirement. We've done this temporal alignment to ensure that appropriate controls are applied to each lifecycle stage in order to reduce the lifecycle-based risks like shadow AI, untested models, or compliance gaps in retirement. And then the last pillar is the threat category. At the end of this matrix, we map these controls to 9 specific AI threats. Threat categories, they include model manipulation, data poisoning, model theft, loss of governance, etc. So this threat-centric pillar ties each control to real-world risks, allowing organizations to build a threat-informed defense strategy and also enable threat security by design. And then in the next slide, I present here an example. Again, this is the core architecture of the matrix, but this time it is more specific. I'm taking one of the controls, A&A02, as an example. A&A02 reads, conduct independent audit and assurance assessment according to relevant standards at least annually. And then for this specific control, going clockwise again, we have the control type. It is cloud and AI related, as it both is relevant to aspects of both. We identify its ownership, who is responsible for this control, depending on the layer. For example, it's owned by model providers in the model layer, orchestration service providers in the middleware, and application providers at the application layer. So it's applicable across all architectural layers. It is mapped to multiple lifecycle stages, including preparation and deployment. And at the end, we also specify what threats they mitigate, they address, like model manipulation, data poisoning, etc. And this slide basically shows how a single control aligns with all 5 architectural pillars.
That's a good example, I think, for someone to connect the dots, how each control resonates with the different pieces of it. This is a good example and demonstration. And I like the part at the bottom where key exclusion. So not directly relevant to cybersecurity, legal, privacy, HR team. So this is actually for GRC team, internal audit. So this aligns with them.
Yeah, the specific control, yes. And the same thing can be done for the rest of them. So the different teams can work on different parts of this framework and implement them.
Nice.
This is basically what it is, the AICM, how it is built. It is, as I said, there's a little bit of work still left there. It started with a threat taxonomy in which we based these 9 AI threat categories. And we are to publish this AI controls matrix end of June. And at the same time, it will have as a bundle different mappings to different standards in order to cover compliance. ISO 42001, IAIC4 catalog, NIST 601, and the EU AI Act. This is one directional mapping from the AICM to these standards. And right after these are published, we'll start the reverse mapping. At the same time, maybe with a month difference, we'll publish the implementation and the auditing guidelines, meaning implementation recommendations and best practices on how to implement these controls. And for auditors, auditing steps on how to audit the AI actors, how to audit the model provider, how to audit the application provider, the orchestrated service provider, etc. And then also the self-assessment questionnaire, which is like a first layer of self-test in order to make sure, check the list that you have implemented the controls that you need to implement.
Nice, excellent, Marina, great job. I think this covers all of what Cloud Security Alliance AI Control Matrix has to offer. So if you have any questions, reach out to Marina. Marina, what's the best way for people to reach out to you in case they have any feedback and anything they want to share with you?
All the ways. I cannot even count the channels. Slack, email, Circle community, LinkedIn, like 4 different channels. Yes, it's
Okay.
easy.
Yeah.
And I answer
For,
always. Yes.
yeah, for CSA SoCal community, we encourage everybody to use Circle, obviously, so that you can see all the upcoming events as well. So with that, Marina, thanks so much.
Thank you, Victor.